In January of 1957, a girl from the hardscrabble hills of Western Virginia appeared on Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts, marking the beginning of an extraordinary career that would alter the country music landscape forever. Virginia Patterson Hensley was born on September 8, 1932, in Winchester, Virginia. It was a hard life for the girl who would become Patsy Cline. Her father left when she was 16, and she dropped out of school to help support her mother and two siblings. At night, she sang in the roadhouses and honky-tonks around Winchester, and she began appearing with Bill Peer and his Melody Boys on local radio in Winchester. During the day, she worked as a waitress at the local drugstore, at a poultry plant cutting the heads off of chickens, and at the Greyhound bus station. In 1953, she performed on Ernest Tubbs' Midnight Jamboree for the first of many times, broadcast from Tubbs' Record Shop on Broadway in Nashville. That same year, she married Gerald Cline. Beginning in the fall of 1954, a television producer named Connie B. Gay spotlighted Cline as a featured soloist on his Town and Country regional TV broadcasts, which included Jimmy Dean as host.
Welcome to Town and Country Time, the show that features the tops in country and folk music, and of course the biggest stars. Jimmy Dean and the Texas Wildcats are on hand to provide the music, and our roster of stars includes Little Mary Click, Quincy Snodgrass, Fiddle and Buck Ryan, Pete Castle, and the Echo Inn Clockers. And now, here's our genial master of ceremonies, Jimmy Dean.
All right, and thank you so much, and to you nice people out there, a big howdy and welcome to our show called Town and Country Time.
Thanks in part to her appearances on Town and Country, Cline landed her first recording contract in September 1954 with 4-Star Records, an association that lasted 6 years and was to become the single greatest hindrance to her career.
She was on 4-Star Records, and a gentleman named Bill McCall owned that label, and he only would let her do songs that was in his publishing company. The songs weren't that good.
Cline made her first recordings for 4-Star in June 1955 with arranger Owen Bradley.
When we started recording her, we were using tape, but it was mono. All of it came out of one speaker, and then they developed stereo. Well, even when they developed stereo, the way the stereo evolved, they had a speaker here and a speaker here that the sound comes out of, and you'd split the band and the voice is there. And as a ghost kind of in the middle is where the voice would be. And I don't know how they did that, but that was what was so wonderful about Patsy. That was the only thing she got to overdub, because usually when we finished the session with her, her vocal went down when the music went down, and that's why the A-Team was around so long, because we could play it from the upper left-hand corner down without making a mistake. At the time, they were giving their great vocal performance, you know.
Those sessions and others that followed failed to produce a song that broke into the country charts. However, Patsy realized a lifelong ambition when she joined host Jimmy Rogers and the great Ernest Tubb on the Ralston-Purina portion of the Grand Ole Opry in July 1955.
Why, thank you, Jimmy. In fact, I want you, Jimmy, and all the folks to meet this lovely young lady, because she's our special guest tonight from Virginia.
Wonderful.
Fine recording artist for the choral people, and her name is Patsy Cline.
Patsy Cline. How are you, Patsy? Nice to see you. And the bell rings with me now, Ernest. This is the young lady you've been telling us so much about.
Right you are, Jimmy. This is a young lady that I've been bragging
Although
about.
Patsy would go on to make many guest appearances at the Opry over the next several months, recording success proved elusive. Finally, McCall suggested Walkin' After Midnight, a blues-styled number by Don Hecht that Cline did not especially like. Nevertheless, she recorded it on November 8, 1956.
I played on every session that she did except 2. One was a gospel session, and then on the very last session she did, I was working somewhere else. But she did some of her stuff, some of her records in the small studio, but all her hits were cut in the big studio. Crazy was cut there, and Walking After Midnight was cut in the Quonset hut. But all of her big hits were cut there.
Walkin' After Midnight marked a turning point for Patsy. The song peaked as the #2 country and #12 pop hit for 1957 and went on to become the #12 popular song of all time. Cline rode high on her first big hit for the next year, doing personal appearances at the Opry and performing regularly on Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts and Tex Ritter's Ranch Party.
Recordings, many of you people have seen her on a lot of the coast-to-coast radio and TV shows, seen and heard her. Let's give her a real Western welcome to Miss Patsy Cline.
With the success of Walkin' After Midnight, it seemed Patsy was at last on her way to stardom. But a follow-up hit would take years to materialize. In 1957, she divorced Gerald Cline, married Charlie Dick, and made the move to Nashville for good. Although Patsy continued to make records, none came even close to matching the success of Walkin' After Midnight. After giving birth to a daughter in August 1958, Patsy signed with manager Randy Hughes, who attempted to revive her career by booking one-nighters across the country. Back to playing clubs and honky-tonks for $50 a night, Cline was at the lowest point of her career when the Grand Ole Opry made her a member on January 9, 1960. While enormously gratifying, recognition by the Opry deepened Patsy's frustration with her recording career. Desperate for a hit, she decided to ride out her contract with 4-Star. Roy Clark, who had worked with Patsy on radio, television, and at 4-Star, was aware of the situation. He approached Owen Bradley and asked him to sign Patsy.
Her contract was up, and then my brother became the vice president of Decca in 1960. My brother wasn't sure that she would sign with him because they'd had one hit and the rest of them were flops. But she called his office and talked to his assistant, Harry Silverstein, and he came in and told Owen that Patsy Cline was on the phone, and she said if they would give her $1,000, she would sign with them. And Owen came up with $1,000 and signed her. The first record they did was a hit.
Beginning with his arrangement of the Harlan Howard Hank Cochran tune, I Fall to Pieces, Owen Bradley began to direct Patsy towards becoming the leading voice of the emergent Nashville sound.
I think it defined a style, and she was comfortable doing the songs, and she also did some pop songs. She did True Love, and she did, I don't know, 2 or 3 other kind of pop songs that you wouldn't think a country singer would normally know. But I found out later from reading a book that she had worked when she was kind of underage in a joint with a piano player.
Although Cline initially fought Bradley's lush arrangements, which featured backing vocals by the Jordanaires, I Fall to Pieces was a smash hit, reaching #1 on the country charts and a solid #12 on the pop charts.
Some people say that Patsy Cline was temperamental, and actually my brother Owen and she did argue a lot because she got very involved in the recording and in the music, and she was very talented, and I think she just really got a little too excited or emotional about it, and there were a few times that they argued and we'd just sit there and tremble until they got through, and then they never cursed each other, but they were vocal about it, what they wanted, this or that and the other, and he would always win. And after she'd finally calm down and everything, then we'd do the record like he wanted it, you know. And she was just a straight-ahead person. She just kind of walked and talked however she wanted to, but she had a good heart.
Sadly, at the moment of her biggest success to date, tragedy struck Patsy Cline. On June 14, 1961, Patsy and her brother were involved in a head-on crash on a lonely Tennessee road. Although she escaped with her life, Patsy spent a month recovering in the hospital. Patsy returned to her music after the accident, and the recordings she made beginning in August 1961 stand as a testament to her remarkable power to convey the emotional energy and meaning of a song. Her renditions of She's Got You, Sweet Dreams, and of course Crazy stand as breathtaking tours de force.
On the Monday night that we did Crazy with Patsy for 4 hours, and we only got a track. She had to come back later and sing it because she couldn't hold the notes out. Her ribs had been broken in the accident, but by then we had progressed to 3-track, and So that middle track was open for her vocal. And she came back, my brother's recollection is about a week later, and sang it perfectly the first time through. And he said when she got it, he said neither she nor myself wanted to do it anymore. And she got it right. There's no doubt that she really got it.
Patsy's recording of Crazy, written by Willie Nelson, was a #2 country and a #9 pop hit, and rates as the #1 jukebox hit of all time. In 1962, She's Got You was an even bigger country hit, spending 5 weeks at #1 while peaking at #14 in the pop charts. It also became her first entry in the top 50 UK pop charts. 1962 was a watershed year for Patsy. In February, she appeared for the first time on Dick Clark's American Bandstand. In June, she played the Hollywood Bowl with Johnny Cash. And in December, she headlined a night at the Grand Ole Opry on the stage at New York's Carnegie Hall. The same year, Patsy began her Vegas career, opening her act at the Mint, a famous music room at the Fremont Hotel. Back in Nashville, Patsy taped shows with Owen and Harold Bradley for the National Guard, like Community Jamboree with Ferlin Husky, Carl Smith, and the Stone Mountain Cloggers.
But I can't understand why you singing such beautiful songs, such beautiful girl, parked way out here in Surrey, and you don't even have a horse to pull it.
Well, I'll tell you how it is. You know, nowadays, a boy gets a girl, and he goes out and he finds a lonely spot, and he runs out of gas. Yeah. Back in my day, you found a lonely spot and you run out of horses.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Well, you should. You'll approach it sometime.
It's going to introduce me?
Well, I guess you have. Patsy Cline, do you know Ferlin Husky?
Hi, Ferlin. Come on in.
By 1963, Patsy had replaced Kitty Wells as the reigning queen of country. Her music was played from coast to coast. She was the biggest female star on the Grand Ole Opry, and her future was bright. In March, Patsy flew from Nashville to Kansas City to perform a benefit concert. Accompanying her were her manager, Randy Hughes, and the singers Cowboy Copas and Hawkshaw Hawkins. Following the concert, the plane, flown by Hughes, went down in bad weather in western Tennessee near the town of Camden. Everyone on board was killed. Patsy Cline was 30 years old.
Well, I don't think we've still gotten over it. It was terrible because not only did we lose Patsy, but we lost Cowboy Copas, Hawkshaw Hawkins, and then we lost her manager, fine guy, wonderful guy. He was piloting the plane. So we lost them, and then on the way to her funeral, we lost Jack Anglin of Johnny and Jack. He had an automobile wreck on the way to the funeral. It's just unbelievable how what a family we were back at that time, because there weren't that many people in town, and smaller number of artists, musicians, and singers, and it really affected. I think it's affected us even up till now. And then Jim Reeves' plane crashing too, you know, because we lost those great artists. There's no telling what they would have done.
Patsy Cline died young and beautiful at the top of her power. Since her death, her records have sold millions of copies, and her face has appeared on a U.S. postage stamp.
Patsy also is in the Guinness Book of Records because Patsy Cline's best 12 hits or something. It's been on the charts about 15 years.
The story of her life has been told in a Hollywood movie, Sweet Dreams, starring Jessica Lange. Patsy was elected to the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1973 and was also awarded a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Fittingly, she has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The contribution Patsy Cline made to the world of country music is monumental. Her unique style and incredible voice has inspired fans and fellow artists for decades, making Patsy Cline the most popular female country singer in recording history.
I've heard of her singing with a country band, I don't know, maybe a month or so before she was killed in a plane crash. And what was so great about Patsy is that the band, I don't want to put the band down, I don't even know who they were, but they were not up to the studio quality, record quality musicians, but it didn't matter to her because she was going to sing. She just overwhelmed everything. She came to sing, and didn't matter what she played behind her. She was really going to do her thing, you know.
I have one of the world's great record collections, and I do radio shows. And recently I've been doing some shows with Larry Elder on KABC in Los Angeles. And during one of the 5 or 6 shows we've done, he asked me, Steve, who do you think had the greatest voices in rock and roll? Setting Elvis aside, because that's so easy to say, because he certainly was right there. But I said Roy Orbison for a male and Patsy Cline for a female. Every time I hear Sweet Dreams of You or any of the 4 or 5 pop hits, not to mention all the country hits she had, I just think what she could do with her voice is beyond belief. The notes she could hit and the life that she would bring to music through her voice, to me, was unparalleled.
Truly one of the brightest stars of country music, Patsy Cline's music will live forever in the hearts of fans and music lovers the world over.